Welcome, one and all, to League of Nerds for April 10th, 2014. My name is Brian Durett, along with my co-host, Melissa Cofell. This is the second recording of this League of Nerds copycast we are doing because our lead techie, Corey, lost all our footage. So we're shooting this for a second time. We've got about an hour here, so hopefully we'll keep it within time restraints today, but
we've got a lot to talk about today, Brian.
Yeah, we got 5 big topics. We got The Wolf Among Us, Episode 3 has been released from Telltale Games.
And content has started coming out.
And content has started. I have not played nor seen the full episode yet.
Me either.
As Melissa, so we will probably just do a beginning piece to that, maybe a little bit of the third episode, but we'll definitely update you about that next week once a lot of discussion is sparked. Mario Kart 8 is on the list as well. Elder Scrolls Online, the fan-submitted game topic this week. The Xbox One and PS4 and some new news coming out there, as well as World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor.
I know you and I are both very excited about
that. Yeah, that was about a half hour of our copycat last time. So.
We are very pumped for World of Warcraft.
Oh, we are such nerds. But that's why you're here, right? Because you're nerds just like us.
Alright, so we're going to start off with The Wolf Among Us, A Crooked Mile.
Yeah, so, quick background. Wolf Among Us is a Telltale game similar to The Walking Dead that was released. It's based off of the
Fable comics.
Fable comics, yes. The lead character is Big Wolf, Big Bad Wolf.
Love Big Wolf. We get to see his chest hair. Spoiler. That's not really that big.
He's an animated character. I don't think that you can have...
hey, it's exciting.
Dreams about that. I think if they had made a movie, though, Bradley Cooper would be the perfect Big Wolf.
He's not big enough.
He could work out, though. I mean, he's got the chest for it.
I think if you buff up Ryan Reynolds, he'd work too.
Ryan Reynolds would work, too. Oh,
love Ryan Reynolds. Anyway.
Man Crush Monday.
Man Crush Monday. So what happened in the last episode was pretty shocking, and we've had some lead up to it. But bottom line, someone's been murdering these adult-rated people.
Hookers. They're hookers.
Yes, hookers. And Big B Wolf is trying to find out who. And in the last episode, we see him walk into a motel room next to a strip club, and he discovers a bloody bed with flowers, along with a photo of Ichabod Crane, who runs Fabletown.
Yeah, Crane is kind of in charge of Fabletown, big name, and we find out that at least
he's connected in one way or another.
Yeah.
So that was pretty exciting. In the next episode, spoilers, this is not a spoiler-free podcast, by the way. The next episode opens up to the decision you have to make, like, how does Big B react to it? And I think that was really exciting to see. It was very seamless if you're playing the game all at once.
Yeah, a lot of the options, though, were very...
brutal.
Okay, they were basically all Snow White driven. Snow White is kind of the...
love interest.
The love interest and kind of the secondary man in running Fabletown, or woman, I would say. She's kind of Crane's like right-hand woman.
Unfortunately for her.
And Big B's really kind of in love with her, and so he's very concerned that Crane's going to go after her because one of the big issues was the girl that was most previously killed is a troll, but she was glamoured up, which we'll explain in a second, to look like Snow White. And so we don't know if Crane has a fascination for Snow White or wants to kill Snow White.
Oh no, we know that Crane has a fascination for Snow White.
No, we don't necessarily. No, that hasn't necessarily been released, at least as far as I've seen.
Well, I mean, it's very... what am I looking for? It's very insinuated.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that later. But yeah, glamours is what all of Fabletown has to use to look like humans because Fabletown is in the heart of New York. And the New Yorkers don't know that they're fables. They don't know that they're these mythical creatures. So they have to stay glamoured in order to keep peace.
Yeah, it makes them just look like normal human beings.
Normal human beings. What's expected? Brian and I talked about this yesterday, and a lot of them have come true, but we're not going to tell you which ones. Do you want to start off with this?
Yeah, sure, why not? I think that what's expected from us necessarily is very differing. We have very different opinions on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that Crane somehow isn't the killer, even though it's kind of glaringly obvious that he is, but with Telltale,
Telltale loves their plot twists.
They love plot twists, and so I think that something's going to happen. Maybe someone was glamoured to look like Crane, and then did it to frame him or something like that. I also think that there's going to be a lot of death coming up, because Telltale's got a lot of characters going on.
Based on the reviews, they say that it pulls your heartstrings out.
I
It absolutely rips you apart. So, by the way, if you're an emotional person and you want to play The Wolf Among Us, please do so with caution and a lot of ice cream. Because this Telltale is brutal and they do not take any prisoners.
just about no.
They have no mercy. I expected to see a lot more of the storyline as far as like Beauty and the Beast and all those kind of evaluate and kind of almost wrap up. And I also predicted that one of the, well, Disney princesses, even though they're not necessarily princesses in the fables, but like Snow White, Ariel, Beauty, one of them is going to get killed.
Yeah, you know, and I think at this point, you know, we've seen enough princesses come in. I don't think Beauty will be the one to die.
I don't think so either.
'Cause
Unless
she's-
it's that Beast's hand. Oh, my
Because we
heart.
haven't seen enough of that
That's
storyline
just-
unfold yet, so I don't think it's her time to die. But Ariel, who goes by Narissa, and is a
Stripper.
stripper, yeah. I think that she's kind of one of the minor characters, and you kind of
I
got
would
an attachment
absolutely-
to her.
I would absolutely believe that she died because she's got a heartbreak story. She's like, I used to be called the Little Mermaid and I got screwed over
But
basically.
everyone loves the Little Mermaid.
Everybody loves the Little Mermaid. I love the Little Mermaid.
So over to viewer questions, which we've kind of started already. The first question is, who do we think will die first, from Zash Mortar? And I said, and I'm sticking with my prediction, because I haven't at least seen anyone die so far.
No.
So
No one has died
I'm
so
sticking
far.
with my prediction. I'm going to say Buffkin still
Ah.
dies, just because Buffkin doesn't add a whole lot to the
You know-
story, and I think Buffkin's dead.
I love Buffkin. I really hope that's not true, but he is a liability.
Yeah.
I still say either the Disney princesses or someone shocking that we probably wouldn't think about, like one of the Tweedles
Yeah, that's what I was just
or
thinking. One of the
Bluebeards.
Tweedles.
I
I don't
would
think
not
Bluebeard
doubt-
will die. Bluebeard's not enough of a character.
I don't think you've gotten to the point where I am at
No,
yet.
I have not.
But the Tweedles, I think one of them is going to go and it's going to make the other one freak out. That's my prediction for that. Do you watch or play The Wolf Among Us by Anti-Anti? Yeah. So, yeah, we both watch it. We have not played yet because we're both very impatient. We don't like waiting for the episodes. So we're going to wait until it comes out full version to play it. But we both have plans to. We both watch it very rigorously.
Yeah, it's a very important part of my day when a new video comes out. I have to sit down and watch it.
Oh,
Actually, I have to
man.
wait a couple hours and gear myself up emotionally, and then I can
Oh, no,
watch
I
it.
jump right into it. If I gear myself up, I get too worried.
I'm like, I need to go watch like some Super Mario videos or something first. And
But yeah, I jump right into it every day after school. Love PewDiePie. Yeah.
Uber Hacks or Nova.
So, who's your favorite non-Big B character? You made fun of me the last time because I picked a girl. But that's because I can't relate to any of the guys, and I said that before. So I'm going to say either Snow White or Beauty.
Yeah, but I don't know. See, I can say Snow White because I really like the Snow White character. I think
She's strong.
she's very
I love
independent,
that.
especially for a woman character in a video game and a Telltale video game, because Telltale doesn't like strong women sticking around all that long.
I don't know, Clem and Krista held on very long.
Well, I mean, Krista was around, but Krista wasn't, you know.
I think
She was very.
I think Telltale's almost realistic with the way they do things. But
Yeah,
neither here nor there.
And
Snow
Clem was
White-
very innocent.
Snow White's a fighter, so I like
Yeah,
her.
she's a big fighter. I like the Woodsman just because I think he's a really good character, who I have not seen yet so far.
No, I have not either.
Okay,
I haven't
so-
even seen the axe yet.
Yes.
Which was disposed in the trailer.
Yeah, they showed the Woodsman's axe, and so I think some other characters.
I think some other character's gonna have it. I'm almost wondering if the Woodsman will die first.
I think the Woodsman. I thought the Woodsman might die too, but the guy had an axe in his head, and he just got up and walked away. And I'm
Fables
like,
are hard to kill. Fables are hard to
for
kill.
the most part.
Anyway.
Really good.
And then you said Woodsman, Snow, and Bluebeard?
For deaths? Or
No, for favorite
Oh,
characters.
for favorite characters? I like Bluebeard. I think Bluebeard's a decent character. He's very.
I like that he's
like on the-
voiced by.
Yeah, he's
Fennoy?
voiced by Dave Fennoy, who's also the voice of Lee from The Walking Dead. I just think
Very
that
nostalgic.
he's a very interesting character. I like that he's on kind of the good side, but as a villain. I think that's kind of an interesting.
I think so
aspect.
too. I think it adds a dimension that we hadn't thought about.
So that question comes from Igloo Diglett. So thank you guys for your questions for.
And the first Who Will Die First came from Zash Mortar. Sorry for the late plug right there.
I did say that actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm here
She
today.
doesn't pay attention. Yeah,
All right.
chips.
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, moving on to Mario Kart 8.
We've
A lot
got
of news
we've got some
released.
super news for that. And that's kind of exciting because Nintendo's been rumored to be bought out by Facebook and has been reporting loss, so I really am hopeful for Mario Kart 8 and what it does for their systems.
Yeah, new characters have been, now neither of us have played or really done anything with Mario Kart 7, which was a handheld only. So I might be repeating some of the characters that were in Mario Kart 7, but they have been announced and released for Mario Kart 8 as well. Lakitu, Metal Mario, all 7 of the Midgard, or Mid-Castle Koopas, that includes Boom Boom, Lemmy, Iggy, Wendy, and the rest of them. So those will all be there as well.
New items, Boomerang Flower and Piranha Plant. Now the Piranha Plant looks really cool. You put it on the front of your car and he lunges out and tries to bite people. And every time he lunges you get a speed boost.
Yes, it's an interesting dynamic that we haven't seen yet in Mario Kart that isn't just a simple, you either go faster or you can throw it directly in front of you.
Knock someone out.
Yeah, it's got a little more of a strategic aspect to it. Strategic for Mario Kart,
I really can't wait to see it and how it affects gameplay.
Really quick, just since this is a short topic, really quick touching off that, I also wanted to mention Super Smash Bros. 4 for the Wii U and the 3DS that's also been released, or announced, excuse me, and so they've been going through the roster. And it's been hinted recently that Pac-Man is going to be in the game as a playable character.
That is exciting.
Some of the assist trophies and stuff are Galaga related, and so they're saying that Namco and stuff is going to make a lot of appearances in the game. This is perfect time for Pac-Man.
I'm excited for the Villager.
Oh my god.
And the Wii Fit Trainer.
Anything that's been, almost all of the characters that have been announced to be new this year, barring Mega Man, I think suck. I don't care about Little Mac from Punch-Out. I think the Wii Trainer is stupid.
I think it could be so humorous.
She's just this gray silhouette with a sports bra. I mean, that's it.
It's great. I think
the Villager is, oh my goodness, I can't even.
I'm an Animal Crossing fan.
One of his attacks, he plants a seed, grows a tree, cuts the tree, and then the top half of the tree falls and lands on somebody. Like, that's like a 4-minute long attack.
Look, don't judge, okay?
And who else? I think there's Rosalina and Luma, who are literally just another Mario character. It's gonna probably kind of a Peach-based knockoff. So I was hoping for Waluigi, just because I like the comical aspects of Wario and Luigi, or Wario and Waluigi.
Well, we still got plenty of time before it comes out.
And they've been talking about who else they're speculating.
I think they have a June or July release date.
I believe it's July. I want to say like July 24th or something.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
But they have a release time or date at this point.
Yeah.
So does The Sims 4, by the way. Or I guess we'll get more information at E3 for them.
Yeah.
So I guess we've got an information date, which is exciting for me as a Sims fan. Just plugging that in there real quick.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick because
Ooh, do not knock over my coffee.
McDonald's this morning. I mean, some generic coffee this morning. No
Alright.
plug, sponsor us.
But
yeah. So.
yeah, Mario Kart 8 is pretty interesting. They have revamped all their maps and everything, so they're just nicer looking. And
wait for that nice updated Moo Moo Meadows.
the Rainbow Road is a very common image
I
we've seen.
hate Rainbow.
Pretty exciting. Alright, so Elder Scrolls Online is our next topic. I have not looked into this quite at all.
Yeah,
I
this is
just haven't gotten there yet.
slightly more my topic, I guess. So I played the beta for Elder Scrolls Online for about a solid month. And it's pretty good. It feels like a normal MMORPG. Little less variety, I would say. It does definitely feel like the world at least, the area, it feels a lot like Skyrim. It feels a lot like Oblivion. Characters don't necessarily feel the same. Gameplay is completely different. It's very MMO. But it's a solid game. It feels MMO-y because there's a lot of quests, and it feels RPG because there's a lot of story that goes into it. So I think it's exciting. The thing that I'm not excited about is it's $60 plus $15 a month to play.
It's expensive. I mean, World of Warcraft has done the same thing and been successful, so I think we're just going to have to wait and see, to be quite honest.
The difference is, though, I think, is that there's a lot of replay value, I feel, for World of Warcraft, which we'll get into World of Warcraft here in a bit. But, there's the things that make you want to come back. There's a lot of collectible stuff. There's a lot of rare and exclusive stuff. Pets, yeah, mounts, stuff like that. But Elder Scrolls doesn't really have that, at least at this stage in the game as its release. And it will have, monthly updates and stuff, patches and all that, which any good MMO does. But I feel like it's kind of the only thing you're going to log in to do is just quest, and it's a lot of the same quest where a lot of them are go to this area, talk to this person, go to this area, talk to this person. It's very lore-based, very lore-heavy. So if you're not into that, I'd avoid the game. So we'll get on to some of the viewer-submitted questions. So the first one comes from Yanma on the Loose, and it says, do you play ESO, which is Elder Scrolls Online?
I plan to play it, I just haven't gotten there.
I played the beta, I have not purchased the full game yet. And I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'll probably end up buying it at some point, but I don't think it'll be a reoccurring monthly thing I pay for.
Yeah, I think it might
maybe
just be like a month or two and then
a month or
call
two out
it.
of the year, yeah.
Is it more MMO or RPG based by Bobblebees?
That's a good question, because that's, I think the thing that defines a good MMORPG is what side more it falls on. In the day and age, I would say that RPGs are a little less liked and played compared to MMOs, because, and you can obviously play, RPG in a lot of different styles of games.
RPG has recently gotten a stigma because of games like D&D and all that.
Yeah.
And that's a very unfortunate thing to see happen.
RPGs, it's a good idea. I think it's great that you can, go into this world and be somebody different, but I think no matter what game you play, it's kind of like that anyways.
Yeah,
Whether
I
you're
totally
playing,
agree.
Assassin's Creed or World of Warcraft, you're taking on the persona of a different character, and I feel like you get that feel whether you're actively involved or not.
Agreed.
But with that being said, it is very MMO based. I feel it's a lot of questing, stuff like that. There's not really dailies yet, but they're kind of implementing dailies. So it's very MMO based. There's some RPG aspects to it, but you're not forced to play RPG, and no one really expects you to at this early stage in the game. So yeah, MMO based definitely. The last question is, if I like Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, etc., but I don't really play many MMORPGs, will I like ESO from Ursaring Mafia?
It depends on why you don't play a lot of MMORPGs. If you don't like the multiplayer part of it, absolutely do not play this.
Yeah, it's not multiplayer based, like how World of Warcraft kind of becomes multiplayer based,
Yeah.
where you have to do dungeons and raids and all that. There's not a whole lot of that going on. It's very easy to solo in terms of an MMORPG. But it's very MMORPG-esque. It does have, the world of Skyrim and Oblivion and all that, and things relating to, but if you're not into MMORPGs, I would definitely suggest not playing it. But if you enjoy Skyrim and you think it's good and you don't mind that the combat system's completely different, yeah, I'd give it a try and see what you think and go from there, but do keep in mind that it's $60 and you have to pay every month.
Pretty big price.
Yeah.
Alright, so Xbox One. Xbox One possibly integrating backwards compatibility. Some Xbox employees and officials have recently stated that they would like to see backwards compatibility, though it will probably have to be something external that you buy.
Yeah, Xbox One kinda, I say this on the nicest terms, but kinda starting to lose the battle to PS4. PS4 is releasing a cloud-style sharing for old games where you can purchase, PS3, 2, and 1 games on PSN. They're gonna open almost a full library for available purchase that the Xbox One kind of doesn't have, and the exclusives for PS4, especially with Second Son just coming out for Infamous.
And The Last of Us being
taking the market.
remastered.
And, yeah, exactly.
That's a huge deal. So, there's no full backwards compatibility for either system yet, and honestly, there might not be. We're still looking at speculations and what developers want to do, but at this point, that's what we have.
Yeah. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to help the Xbox One a lot.
I think it might save the Xbox One.
It's not that it needs saving necessarily. The Xbox One's doing pretty well. A lot of people.
It's doing okay, but I think the early security problems have really put a hit on it still.
Well, that and everything that everything that started, that you're going to have to be connected to the internet 24/7. There's not going to, you're going to have physical copies of every disc, and there's not going to be any, buying and trading games and stuff
and
like that.
Unfortunately, also on a political standpoint, the NSA invading Facebook and invading people's privacy, really going to knock the Xbox One since you have that Connect and you have to have it.
They actually talked about that, how it's easily possible for the NSA to tap into stuff like that and be able to watch you, which we know that has been done through video cameras and stuff built into your PC.
But it's just another invasion of privacy that people are very worried about, especially in this day of age, which honestly I'm on that bandwagon. I've got a sticky note over my laptop camera. I am creeped out by it.
Go ahead and watch me while I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm sure you're going to learn interesting and fascinating stuff about me.
Right. But no, so I think I'm interested to see who wins this race. I think it'll probably be PS4 at the rate they're going, but Sony's had some setbacks before. Yeah. So honestly, it's still kind of up in the air.
The biggest struggle that Sony had, though, was trying to compete with the new technology that's coming out. They tried with the, the PS4, the motion ones. I don't remember what that was called exactly, but they tried to make that. And
I know they've adopted VR.
Yep. And not that it was bad or anything, but it just didn't compete with the Kinect and
Agreed.
the motion sensitivity of
The Kinect on the Xbox One is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good, but now the thing to be said about Kinect is that a lot of the Kinect games
Are really lame.
are 12-year-old games. Well, that's great. You can go rafting with your friends. Let's jump, man. It's like
Woo!
it's hard to integrate stuff like that, and that's why Nintendo does so well with the party games, is because that's what motion stuff like that is geared
Mario
for.
Party 8 is still my favorite.
Mario Party, any Mario Party is fantastic. I have Mario Party 2 when I play it all the time.
But yeah, so
Man,
I'm excited to see who wins that race.
Me too.
But we should probably move on to our favorite topic.
Yeah, so we got about half an hour saved up now for
Warlords of Draenor.
Warlords of Draenor.
Brian and I are super excited about this. We have been playing World of Warcraft for many years individually.
Oh,
And we're super excited.
yeah, I'm very excited.
It's always exciting when you get news. And we just got the patch notes released this week.
Yep.
And we read through them extensively, all 33 pages. And there's some interesting things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot that has been changed. The number one thing that I thought was a really good, well, the first thing that was kind of announced in the patch notes that I thought was a really good thing for World of Warcraft is the number and stat squish, which doesn't sound like a big thing, but it means that
It's a really big deal, actually.
it is. It means
It's going
that
to change the entire game.
all the massive numbers in the game are squashed down to smaller numbers, and everything is being squashed down.
And they'll bring them back up to a reasonable gameplay amount.
Yeah.
But the thing with World of Warcraft is this is their 4th or 5th expansion, right?
Sixth.
6th?
Sixth.
No, because we had Burning Crusade,
Burning Crusade, Lich King, Cataclysm,
Pandaria, so it's 5th. So their 5th expansion off of Vanilla WoW, so 6 games in total.
That's what I was thinking.
It's going to get ridiculously complicated by that point. The numbers are huge. So
You got lead bosses that have 190 billion health.
exactly. So Blizzard is not nerfing anything, and we have to stress that. They are not nerfing this.
At least with
They
this topic,
yes.
yeah, this squish.
They have to backtrack and uncomplicate their game because the servers are being bogged down, lag is bad, and on their side, it really sucks working with 1.6 billion health.
Yeah.
So ranking and everything will get much easier with this number squish.
Yeah, so it's just basically, the easiest way to think about it for me is that basically just take 80% of whatever the number is and throw it out,
Yep.
and then everything's at that 20%. So everything's scaled down equally,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just smaller numbers to deal with. So you might not be doing 6 billion damage, but you're still doing the same percentage of damage.
Now, what I thought was interesting is they take the number squish, and for like a lot of like solo things, they'll bump it back up to about 2 times that, and they'll also up your damage too. But for characters, or for enemies that are 3 levels above you, they will give you a 100% hit chance with only a 3% chance of being parried, no chance of being blocked and whatnot. But if it's 4 levels or higher, they dramatically squish those numbers and give you a better chance of being blocked and defended.
There's about a 30% chance of being blocked. I think they
Yeah.
said a 25% chance of parry and a 50% chance of just missing.
And
So-
that's a huge deal because now they're trying to keep people from going too above their heads. Which I agree with it, but at the same time I don't. But I think it's really interesting how they decided to implement that. I didn't think that was a big problem at all.
Yeah, and I speak from terms here that I understand that, I have a level 66 Night Elf Druid that I've been playing as of recent, and I'm in Shatroth City, and I'm a little bit behind where I probably should be, and my current quests are level 70s. So instead of being able to complete those, and I'm not having any trouble with it, I'm taking them down pretty easily. But, I won't be able to do those now. I'll be missing left, right with my wrath and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of almost a hindrance, I feel. And they're trying to, persuade them away from attacking high level mobs. But I feel like that kind of defeats a lot of the
Yeah,
challenge.
I think maybe there's a reason that they're doing it that we don't understand yet.
Because Yetta just killed me in one hit because I was like 5 levels lower than where I should have been.
But yeah, I think it'll be really exciting to see like how everything is done. Another big thing is hit and expertise has been removed, and that therefore changes 90% of the race perks.
Yeah, most of the race perks are plus 1% to expertise.
And we
with
needed them changed, but
Yeah,
it was really weird that they chose to do it now.
I agree with that to an extent. I know that they were working really hard on making adequate passives for Pandaria, that they were kind of shying away from that and revamping all the passives at that point. So I think it's at least decent that they're changing all the passives in a an expansion that doesn't have any races or classes
Yeah.
being implemented. But at the same time, you know, they're not bad passive necessarily, but
I think they're really great, and their names are much better than the other ones.
a lot of
not
them,
gonna
yeah,
lie.
they have made a couple new names. A lot of them are being just revamped. You know, the best one's still Doodoo Shuffle for the trolls. That's just the best passive name that they've ever had. But I think it's a good idea to get rid of a lot of those expertise ones, especially because you know,
Absolutely.
1 extra % to expertise with guns
It needed to go.
doesn't help me,
It
especially
needed to
when
go.
I'm playing a world.
Um, yeah, it needed to go. What weirds me out? So there's talent trees, and once you reach, I think, level 20, you go into a talent tree.
Yeah.
They are changing your spells in order to keep canon with that tree. So like a Frost Death Knight doesn't have Raise Unholy Dead and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's kind of stupid.
I'm mixed feelings on that because I do like that it'll make rotations much more simple because, I mean, you'll have your spells and you know which is better and whatnot. But that ghoul has saved my butt so many times and I'm going to miss it.
And I think it would be okay if they made, let's say, you know, Raise Dead, you know, they changed that to be, you know, Frost Servant or something, and it
Yeah.
raises a Frost Servant, and it's just an ice ability. I think that would be the way to go about it instead of completely just getting rid of, you know, this ghoul, and now you just have, you know, you can fire an ice bolt or something like that's. Great. It's
They
the
didn't
same.
even add anything on.
Yeah, they just.
But yeah, I mean,
A lot of them, I think actually Death Knight, I think it was Death Knight and Monk were the only ones that didn't have anything added spell-wise, but the rest of the classes have gotten
Yeah.
some new spells at least. But they
I
cost
think
a
it's
lot
very
as well.
I think it's very cool that they're doing it and they're trying to like streamline your talents and make it so talents are actually relevant.
Mhm.
But I do think it mildly does hinder the player.
Well, I think part of the problem now is that, you know, you go into the LFR and everything, or the LFD, and, you know, that's great, you get in there, but somebody has queued for the role, let's say, I don't know, I was going to say Holy Priest, but that doesn't work, Restoration Druid, let's say, and so they go in and they queue up for healer, and like, oh good, we got a healer, but then their entire loadout is DPS, and then they have no heals, and so your balanced Druid now is forced to do the healing, and it takes away a lot of your DPS, and it's you know, people coming in and either trolling or just not knowing what they're doing, and I think they're trying to streamline it so that if you're going to sign up for a healer, you have to be a healer. That's all you have set is healing
Yeah,
abilities.
I totally agree with you. And with that, they have actually changed a lot of the spell castings. So instant casts now have cast times.
For the most part.
And yeah, for the most part. And so they're trying to streamline healing so it's actually a talent.
Yeah.
That you actually have to focus on
They
it.
have changed a lot of the, especially the healing-based classes, mainly like priests.
Druids to an
Yeah,
extent.
Restoration Druid and Holy Pallies.
Yeah,
I believe.
paladins, that was the other one.
Have it so that instead of healing just one person at a time, you can now select 2 to possibly 3 members and heal all of them equally. Where it's, you know, within like 15-foot radius, you heal everybody for X amount of this or X amount per second.
They've streamlined healing quite a bit, and I think it'll be interesting to see in a dungeon. But I think what's going to make things really bad in a dungeon is they have completely reduced crowd control.
Yeah, CC has been completely, drastically reduced, which makes things really difficult because when you're going against a very CC-heavy boss or something, you need to have CC of your own to kind of counteract that.
Yeah, crowd control is really important in places like the wind dungeons and all
Yep.
that, where you don't have a choice but to crowd control like half of it and then attack it in waves.
And I mean, you don't need it in stuff like, you know, Ragefire Chasm, let's say.
No,
you know,
of course
it's
not.
easy to just kind of run through there real quick and just DPS your way through. But when you get to higher level content,
It's necessary.
especially when the fights are taking, you
In
know,
raids,
3 hours.
yeah, you need crowd control, and I really think that they're going to have to redo that. I think that they're going to have to put more crowd control in. Because crowd control was an issue before they nerfed it.
Yeah. And a part of that, you know, say you're fighting 2 enemy mobs just questing around, and all of a sudden you get 2 more adds than you have, which is just enemies that kind of come over and target you. So now you got 4 on you, right? So now what are you forced to do? You got to have some sort of CC to either fear them or stun them or something so that you can get your attacks off and they're not just
Exactly.
constantly beating the crap out of you. So I think that's also going to be a little bit of a hindrance as well. I know there have been many times where my entangling roots have saved me because
Yes.
it stops everything for a couple minutes.
Yep. As a mage, Cone of Cold and all
Yep.
those have
Yep.
saved me. Yep. So they've revamped the glyph system, so now you learn major glyphs as you level up.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
There's several glyphs that you learn now while leveling up, which is great, so I don't have to go purchase them for extremely ridiculous amounts or
for
get
like
the
1,000
inscription
gold
talent.
apiece. Yep.
It's all just taken care of, so that's nice.
And then professions no longer have combat perks tied to them, and you don't have to have a high skill to like collect herbs in a very high place or whatever, or mine things in a high level place. It's just how much you get is scaled by your skill.
So you mean to tell me that at level 1 I could go into the Blasted Lands and get some ore and still get some ore from it?
Yeah, you won't get very far in the Blasted Lands, but you can.
You'd probably die before you get to the ore, but it's doable.
Yes, it's doable. You just
Not really.
only get like maybe 1 or 2 pieces rather than like 5 or whatever. And I think that is very cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
That's very handy because for me, I like professions. I just never have the time to.
See, I have I think one character that has professions, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, the rest are level 60, 70, 80, 90, and actually I don't know how many 90s, I lied. But I don't think any of them touch professions yet because I don't really know how to do professions.
Yep.
And I'm always, by the time I learn my profession, it's like level 20, 25, and I'm like, yay, profession. I don't want to have to go back to level 1 areas
Exactly.
to mine some.
So I think it'll be very good, and you'll still get experience from mining it and everything, I believe. So that's very handy. Garrisons. That's going to be a very big part of the next expansion.
Yeah, fans have always wanted some sort of housing in World of Warcraft, which I think's cool. I'm actually curious to know on whether it's, is it open world housing where I will see everybody's garrisons?
I think.
Or is it something specific to my game that I
think it'll be I think it'll have to be specific, and you'll invite because the servers will not be able to handle 12 million garrisons.
So it's like Club Penguin.
Yes, it's exactly like Club Penguin, and I think that's exactly what it's going to be, because there's no way on earth you can do that. Or maybe there'll be like one building that'll load, and you'll load your specific one. But other than that, there's no way.
As I say, because if you have a full server, it's got 1 million people on it. I mean, that's a lot of garrisons.
I mean, yeah, and you can, they can have it so garrisons aren't loaded until someone goes in. That will keep server traffic low and keep them from crashing.
Hallelujah.
So I think that's I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they do that. They've been recently updating servers and everything, and things have gotten a little bit better. So
a lot better.
We're going to have to see how this goes. 6 new dungeons.
Yeah, 6 new dungeons, 16 new bosses within them, and it's great. And one thing we haven't talked about yet that's not on here.
Character models!
Cool notes and stuff.
Yeah, notes!
Brand new character models they have released.
They've released the female Draenor officially now.
They are. Woo! I messed up something.
But they have stated.
R.I.P. headphone users.
So, if you have seen the female Draenor, the updated model is actually not that different.
Yeah, the Draenors where they used that, when they first came out, they used newer technology than the original
Well, the problem
models.
is the animations are what really makes a Draenor. So they have to be very careful on what they change, because the Draenor still has to have that kind of almost gimpy walk.
Yeah.
And it still has to be so specific. But really all they needed to do was add some shading and some different hair.
As long as their chin tentacles still move, I'm pleased. Like that's.
Oh, I'm sure they'll.
Sitting there and you're like, why is that? Is there muscles in there? So.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited. The dwarves look awesome.
The dwarves look
Gnomes
fantastic. Cool. Gnomes, they haven't released any facial models,
No.
I believe, yet, even though they said that the orcs and the dwarves were done to their liking, or
I like the
fans
orcs.
have glaring problems.
The orcs look like orcs now.
The
That
orcs-
is so exciting, instead of just like green beings.
I thought that the orcs were one of the more decent character models.
I agree,
vanilla.
but
You know what I'm excited for? The new Undead, because they're terrible. They're terrible in the current.
I really hope they change a lot of them. Yeah. They've released Torn too, and Torn look really good.
Did they release females?
I think they only released male.
I think they only released the male Torn for now. The Torns look pretty good.
Again, they're one of the better character models. They just need some shading, maybe some.
Yeah, they were pretty good as well.
Toning up.
Just toning up. They
just
also
stick it together.
the female night elf got leaked.
Oh yeah,
which
leaked.
I
I've
saw,
not seen it yet.
and it's okay. It's still a work in progress. They say it's from about 2 months ago, which that's one of the partakings that they just started was the night elf, the female night elves. They had just begun those, so they look pretty good. They also ended up releasing the original models that they did. They had started these back in early Cataclysm. And then scrapped it, saying that they didn't like the progression it was going, and they were going to use different technologies. So that was also released. They looked pretty good for being even older technologies. So
Yeah, I'm pretty excited
Very
to
excited.
see. I think the most one I'm excited to see is like the males of the females that have been released and vice versa.
Yeah.
Just because like we've already seen this teaser and we've seen, you know, some shading, we've seen definition, and I want to see it. And like the male Draenei, they're gonna look good with some shading.
I hope so. I really do. I mean, the Draenei don't look too bad.
No, they don't
But
look
you
bad
also
at all.
have you have to remember you have the vanilla models that look terrible.
Yeah.
So anything else looks pretty good in person.
The human females actually look pretty good now. They look a lot better after the tone. Because, like, they're not so pale anymore. They look like they could actually be women warriors, especially. And that's exciting to me, because before they just kind of looked like,
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see, and I'm a total geek for all that, like, little detail.
Me too.
So I'm very excited. I want to see more Horde released. I mean, we've seen the orcs, but that's about all
And they
we've
have the
seen.
Tauren. Well, you have the male Tauren now.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I believe next up is the trolls.
The trolls could be really cool because they've got some really awkward animations.
Yeah, they have that, but that's kind of how the trolls are. They're awkward.
I just want to see how
so I
it
think
works.
they could get that kind of quirkiness in there, and it'll be really nice. I do not believe that they're doing Worgen, Goblin, and obviously Pandaren.
I don't think they need to.
And I would. There's some touches you could make, especially to the female Worgen, that's terrible. She
I kind of agree with that.
her punching animations cross over. It looks like she's punching herself in the snout.
So true.
Which is great.
I'm not sure if I want them to remove that.
And I mean, goblins are really good. Pandaren are fantastic.
Pandaren are beautiful.
There's so many joints.
Especially
that
the
they have
women
on
one, like,
Yep.
they look good. And it's kind of hard to adapt animals, especially to look feminine and yet still powerful.
Yeah.
I think World of Warcraft has always had that up their sleeve, and they do very good at it.
Yeah, they're pretty. For the most part, they're pretty good with the females, except for female dwarves. They look like dudes.
Well, I think they'll look better come their updated models.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the lore and the story of Warlords of Draenor, which is interesting. It's something we haven't seen a whole lot in World of Warcraft with time travel.
Very lore-based expansion,
Yeah,
actually.
very lore-based expansion. So
Very
Garrosh
exciting.
Hellscream has traveled back in time to the land of Draenor. This new time is really a completely separate timeline than the current Azeroth.
We need to stress that it's completely separate. It is not.
It's an alternate
It's not
universe,
mine.
basically, an alternate
Yeah.
parallel universe. Because then that way, whatever gets messed up can't affect current day Azeroth, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that because I don't know how they do that.
So if you don't know, Draenor is what Outland was called about 35 to 40 years ago, before it was broken apart and reformed into what it is today. So yeah, it's just old day Outland, to where the Draenei, took habitants and kind of made their own.
Until they got screwed.
Yeah, until they got basically kicked out.
Yeah.
And overrun by orcs. Garrosh has a friend who can manipulate time, and takes Garrosh back to meet with the Iron Horde, which is kind of one of the overall looming evil presences in the game for both sides. So your mission is to stop Garrosh and the Iron Horde before they march through the new dark portal that is linking these two parallel universes and destroy Azeroth. So, as a member of the Horde, you will team up with the Frostwolf clan and Durett, who is the father of Thrall, who's one of my favorite characters.
I'm so excited to see that because Thrall is such a neutral character, and you know he's for the Horde, but he's always had good ties with the Alliance.
Yeah, Thrall is he's a good peacemaker between the two, and he's very, humble and very, not warlike, I guess, very
opposite of Garrosh.
Yeah,
And
Garrosh is a good part of the Horde.
Durett is the one who taught Thrall all of that.
Durett
And
is very...
He's a very big deal, and I'm really excited to see it.
The Alliance are led by, as far as we know at this point, Velen, who is the leader of the Draenei. He's kind of like an overall sagey, wise...
Velen is very cool. We haven't seen any of him since
Yeah, we
Burning
haven't
Crusade.
seen any of him.
And
Really,
honestly, in Burning Crusade, he didn't matter. Velen has never really mattered as far as game went, so I'm very excited, especially as a Death Knight Draenei. Like, that is exciting to me. But you did not mention that we will have to stop Garrosh and possibly Grommash.
Yeah,
who is
so there's actually been a
Garrosh's
little bit,
dad.
and the reason I didn't actually say this is because there was a little bit of leakage almost that Grommash isn't actually going to be as bad a character as we think. He's going to do some things that might surprise us here in this expansion, and so my immediate assumption of that was that Garrosh is going to go back, meet up with Grommash. Grommash isn't going to like what he's doing and kill him or something. Because Grommash at the time isn't going to know that Garrosh is his son.
Really?
I don't believe so. I think they said it was before, because I know that Thrall wasn't around at the time. So, and I'm
No,
assuming...
I think that'd be right as far as storyline
or
goes.
something, or Grandma's is going to be like, well, why are there two Garroshes here? You know, like one's my kid and one's
One's like a baby
poser,
and
and so he
the
kills
other
the other one. That would be my guess. You know, I
That would be kind of anticlimactic from the player's point, though.
You know, I don't know if it would be. I think that Blizzard definitely has the potential to make it really good, but...
They have the skills.
And I'm not saying that this is going to happen, I'm saying this is what I'm speculating purely,
Yeah.
so...
One of the things I'm excited about is Ner'zhul, who's basically
He's
the
Lich-
being
he's the
who
Lich
makes the Lich King goes crazy. Ner'zhul led Arthas to him to take him over, basically.
Yeah, he
And
basically
so
just took his soul.
He's essentially what the Lich King is, even though the Lich King is identified as Arthas, and now Bolvar.
Oh, there's
So-
so much going on. Yeah, so the best way to put it is that Arthas is controlling the Lich King in a sense.
Ner'zhul, the Lich King, is controlling Arthas.
Yes,
So, Ner'zhul, in his own being, wants to join the Aryan Horde and destroy everything. Ner'zhul's always wanted to destroy everything. He is the most chaotic
Same
evil
with
that we
Ruban.
have. Yeah. So, I'm excited to
many
see how that
names.
plays in. Because
So-
this is pre-Lich King, too.
This is pre-everything.
Pre-everything.
This is pre-Burning Crusade, because that's when Outland came
It's like
out.
barely pre-Burning Crusade. It's probably like...
It's like I would
Vanilla
say
or
8
below-
years before
Yeah.
Burning Crusade. But
So it'd
Burning
still be
Crusade-
technically vanilla.
It's about the time of Vanilla.
Yep.
Little bit
So-
before that.
I'm excited to see that because I am a Lich King fan. Like, that was one of my favorite expansions. I love the storyline. I mean, I
It's a
obviously
great
there's a
expansion,
little bit.
but I could not see the Lich King.
But neither here nor there. I'm very excited to see where that plays in, and I'm really excited to see Thrall and Durotan kind of
And
interact.
Durotan's going to be a really fantastic character.
He is a fantastic character. It's just like what they do with him that I'm really excited about. And we've also seen some alpha character models and land for the Draenor. Very pretty, very, it has a lot of potential and I can't wait for it. And
You know what my favorite part about
the world
Draenor
looks pretty
is?
cool.
The fact that they have the Zengar Sea, Ocean, so the Zengar Marsh
Yeah.
has not been created,
It just
which
says
is easily the
Zengar.
worst place ever in the World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I think that's why it hasn't been created though.
Oh, it's so nasty.
I'm very excited.
Very pleased that I don't have to go through that again.
So this expansion is getting a lot of flack because they don't have any races or classes.
Yeah,
And that's
people
kind of
were
a big deal.
expecting to see. People were really expecting to see Naga and ogres make an appearance here, and they have not, at least as far as we know. And I think it's safe to say at this point that it's not going to be happening.
Blizzard usually likes to announce their expansions and their characters or classes right off the bat. They usually like to throw that right in.
The only reason I could see them holding off on it this time is because that's usually their driving force for people to go out and be excited and hype and buy it and purchase it. But they have the level 90 boost that's hopefully fueling that.
Well, I don't know. I think the only way we're getting a new class or a race is if people just aren't excited and they have to save it. But actually, I'm still pretty excited for it despite not having a class or a
I'm
race.
very excited for it. I love new WoW expansions, no matter what they. I mean, I liked Pandaria, and I think that it was a good expansion, even though everyone hates it because pandas. And
I don't hate it. I just think it could have been more.
I think that they did a very flaky patch was what Pandaria was, and it definitely fixed all the problems that Cataclysm caused.
So true.
Made things challenging again, made things exciting to play. I think that all of Pandaria is a beautiful, well done continent. I think that the lore for the Pandarian was well done and all that, but
I think the lore in this one is going to be
pandas.
unparalleled to any expansion we've seen.
You know, I'm hoping. I kind of don't like. I mean, I'm not necessarily against the facts, but I get a little bogged down by the fact that it's always, you know, now we have to go back to a different dimension or something like that.
Yeah, I understand where you can
You
be
know,
bogged down.
it's like
I
they always
totally
have to
get that.
create instances for things to happen, which.
So what could be upcoming? We talked about this. Possible expansion ideas, race classes, hero classes, blah, blah, blah.
Ogres.
Personally, I really want to see a hero class that kind of almost parallels the Death Knight, but in like a natural magey kind of way. Like a magic-based hero class.
So mage.
Well, yeah, but a, one that uses nature
So
to
they're
kind of...
druid. Like a bit of me, like to
Yeah,
give
like
insight,
it-
like a
yeah,
like a
in a
druid
way.
would.
Yeah, in a way, but definitely different than that. But I mean, there's only so many ways you can turn things, so. But that's what I would like to see.
I think that it'd be interesting. See, now for me, I think of hero class. When I think of a hero, I always think of the big, strong guy with the big sword. And so it's hard for me to picture kind of what you're thinking.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted it, is because it's not going to be what's expected, but it's also not going to be overpowered.
But the thing with Blizzard and putting out things that we don't expect is they're never well made.
That's
and I think, Diablo 3 is a good, anything that was really hyped for Diablo and was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that, was terrible. So.
Yeah. As far as races and stuff go, I really want to see Naga. I want to see Naga and Centaurs, and I know we probably discussed that Centaurs probably won't happen just for animation's sake and armor's sake, but I would like to see them take on the challenge.
See, I don't think it's necessarily that they would take on the challenge to do so. Is the fact that it's impractical. That you have to remake almost all the armor in the game.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just I would like to see it happen.
And stuff like that. So.
I would appreciate every effort that went into it.
I don't know. It'd be kind of difficult, for them to decide which side to put centaurs on, because centaurs are very seldom creatures, especially in the World of Warcraft, where they hate both Horde and Alliance, so there would have to be a big uproar with something.
Well, we see them a lot on working with the Night Elves and such. And
the Night Elves aren't exceptional.
And we saw them in
the Trolls.
One of the Cataclysm areas a lot. I can't remember which one, so forgive me, but it was in one of the daily zones.
Yeah.
We saw them a lot there, so I think honestly they would easily go to Alliance, and it would make sense.
See, it'd be difficult because they have such a strong hate for the humans, and they really don't like the dwarves either. So, there's both sides. They like the trolls and they like the night elves, but then there's other pieces for both sides that they despise, and so.
I still think it'd be fun to see it happen.
Third faction, maybe?
No, they're never going to do a third faction.
I think that they could have done a third faction and it would have worked well, but they would have had to do it about 2 expansions ago.
Unless
they make. See, the only thing that you could do with that is, but then you're combining 2 factions, is if they were to take this Iron Horde angle and make an Iron Horde faction with Garrosh, at the helm of that. But then you're kind of combining Alliance and Horde into the 2 oppositions that are coming together to beat the one. So it's impractical, and it's probably not going to happen.
The only way they could have done a third faction is if they would have done it in Cataclysm, because that would have made sense. It could have been like, oh, new areas were broken open, and look at what happened.
Anyways, back to classes and races that we want to see. Are there any classes, just regular classes, not hero classes?
We need a new class, but I can't decide what kind, because honestly, the monk really was kind of a fail.
It's not a bad class, but it starts out kind of weak. It feels super Chinese, as the entire expansion did.
Well, it's supposed to.
Made it difficult though, because it feels so not fantasy-like, I think, and you're taking a monk, which are very seldom peaceful creatures here on Earth.
Serene.
Calm.
They're known for secluding and for doing all this meditation, and then you're putting them into combat.
Yeah, and it feels kind of out of place. They feel a little bit underpowered compared to everything else, which, they sort of are, but.
I don't think they've quite gotten that balance out yet.
Maybe a ninja class.
That'd
be a good opposition for rogue, because rogue's kind of the only stealthy assassin-based class.
No one likes rogues, though.
I hate rogues.
I
hate the fact that I have to
for
go combat
PvP,
points, and the fact that I feel like I'm kind of almost forced to be stealthy with rogues makes it difficult for me. I need to stop playing with these. But I'm the kind of run and gun. I just like to charge in and attack, and that's why I like druids, because they have heals, they have decent defense to boot, and they do a lot of damage. So
it's so true.
And they have good escapes.
Just to kind of speed these up a little bit, will World of Warcraft ever end?
I think that defines on what end is. Will they ever make a last expansion? Unless Warcraft is dying, probably not, because it's going to continue to make money, and that's what businesses care about. Not to say that's bad or anything, it's what drives and fuels this economy, but.
Well, especially because everyone's been laying off animators lately.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the consumer has been very understanding of it.
Yeah, and I think that, World of Warcraft is, of course, it hit its prime when it had, between 12.5 and 15 million active subscribers. We're down to about 8 right now. But that doesn't
8 million.
8 million, yeah, not 8 subscribers.
I knew someone was going to point that out.
But I truly believe that WoW can still be saved and at least steady out where it is now and continue on for
I think the best thing
3 or
that
4
World of
more
Warcraft could do is lower the monthly rate, just a couple bucks. Because I know the reason I have recently quit is because I don't have the money.
Yeah.
It is so expensive. It's about $120 a year. And I mean, like, for teenagers, and a lot of their audience are teenagers and young kids, that's expensive.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And, like...
Here's what I was thinking
just can't
that
do
they
it.
could do, is that, I don't know, maybe, I have to think about how I would go about this. Maybe for every character or something you get to level 90, you can then get, $5 off the next month, $10 off the next month.
Or just do flash sales. Be like, for today only you can buy a membership for X amount of time for X amount of money. And just do flash sales, and that way you're getting commitments, but you're still making money.
That's true. And I mean, World of Warcraft, I have to give Blizzard props, is that they're really trying to keep active subscribers instead of, which I guess probably plays into money, but they're not trying to just say, okay, come buy 6 months and then only play for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're saying, come buy 6 months and play for all 6 months, because they like having that active community. Because
they're very good about pushing content out too. So
Yeah.
right when the majority has finished all the raids and stuff, they put out another.
Yeah.
They're very good at keeping content up and everything. I just think it's a very cost and even time thing.
Yeah.
But like very cost related too. Like I think that's a huge driving point on the consumer's part.
Huge. So we're going to move on to some viewer submitted questions here for the last topic of the day. So the first question we have comes from XLK88 Rav88KLX. What is the best expansion to date?
I know last time I said Cataclysm, but I'm totally going to change my mind to say Lich King.
See, Lich King was really well done, and Lich King improved on a lot of things that need to be improved on.
It gave you a lot of lore to consider, and that's what I liked about it. They gave you like I'm going to screw that up, it's like Stronghold, where you can go back in time and kind of live with it through Arthur. And that was fun. And, yeah, it's going to bother you too, isn't it?
Yeah,
but,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, it gave you a lot of fun new content, and the Lich King raid was like innovative
it's great
and beautiful.
And it's new, and it was a very pretty expansion as well.
Yeah, all the ice and
And you had the Death Knights.
Castles and everything. The Death Knights are cool. Their eyes glow and mist, and their voices are exciting. And like, I think it was a very well-made, pretty, and innovative. That's when they really started going up as far as like their technology and what they use.
I feel like it's safe to say Cataclysm is at the bottom of the list just because it made things so easy.
I agree too.
Broke a lot of things.
I think it's really cool that they the effort they put into it. I will give them that.
Scenery-wise, of course, it looked great, but I don't think you can make an expansion of just how they.
No, agreed. I'm just gonna give them credit where credit is due. The scenery and like the dragons and all the NPCs they added looked really good.
See, now for me, both the newest expansion and the first expansion are at the top of the list. Burning Crusade was very revolutionary for World of Warcraft, and
it was their first expansion.
It was their first expansion, and for the quality that it was and the innovation that it had, bringing in 2 new races and having them at least flow kind of seamlessly in with everything else, making this new realm with Outland and all that is absolutely fantastic. So I think that was really well done. I love Mists of Pandaria. The reception it got wasn't great, but it didn't take away the fact that they fixed the problems of Cataclysm. Got that definitely taken care of. They brought in pandas, which
it was a fun
worked
expansion.
well. And it was fun. It was very bouncy. No pun intended.
Racials. But yeah, no, I think it was a very fanfare one, and I think that's great. I think every once in a while you need that. Favorite racing class by Cows for Life 783. My favorite.
Okay, well if I haven't already proven this, I think my favorite race is Night Elves and my favorite class is Druid. So.
Draenor Death Knight. I'm very partial. I love my Draenor Death Knight.
See, I'm not a fan of Death Knights.
I love my Death Knight. I mean, I
think it's probably the fact that they start at level 55. I like the beginning area.
I'm not a grinder.
See, I'm not a fan of levels 1 to 7.
Well, also
but 8 through 20, I enjoy.
The Death Knight
8 through 30,
opening area before you go and get pelted by rotten fruits at your selective city. Really just fun and exciting. You get to fly around in this giant eyeball. You get to scan things. You get to go into the shadow realm. Like,
you start with a mount Hallelujah.
I know, right? And you also get to do like all these fun little quests. You get to hide behind things. It's just kind of dopey and cool. And I mean, you actually get really into it. You're like fighting for the Lich King, and then
I just can't wait to betray him.
oh goodness, I can't remember his name. But then some Lightbringer comes up and is like, "Wait, this isn't right." And you're like, "No, it's not." It's so fun to get into. Like, it's just really a lot of fun, and it's very immersive in the way that, like, when you enter your, like, either Stormwind City or Orgrimmar, and you're getting pelted by friends, no, go away, you're disgusting. And then they're like, the king's like, halt, this is fine, they're cool. I love it. That's why I love Death Knights.
Alright. Valid argument. Real quick, what's your least favorite class and race? Human monk.
Yeah.
Or human rogue. Because I hate monks and rogues.
Rogues are absolutely my least favorite class, but I think my least favorite race is actually going to be the orcs.
See, that's kind of on the other side for the horde. They're probably my least favorite as well. I don't like goblins either.
I like goblins. I don't like the orcs and the current undead.
The current undead are ugly, but I like them.
I don't
as
like
a
their
race.
opening area. It bores me to death.
Okay, I can see that.
They need to, I mean, like, of all the opening areas that I've been in, that and the Taurens are probably the least
Okay,
exciting.
the Taurens are just like in Barrenland, though.
Yeah, I think
But I
that's
love
the
the
least
I
exciting.
love the Taurens.
I love the Taurens too, and I love their city and everything, but their openings just, they need a different thing.
Alright, so next up from Spec Forzel, what makes WoW so addictive, especially with its true repetitiveness?
Yeah.
I read that weird.
I think that is always adding content, there's always something to do. There's something to collect, there's something to kill, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that you can always better your character. You can always get better gear, you can always get cooler mounts, stuff like that. It gives you something to drive for. Level 90, and then you start over, you're like, oh, I'll do one more. And, you think by level 10 you're going to be sick of it already, but then you want to get that character to 90. It gives you incentive.
Yep. How long have you played? Gravel sucks.
How long have you played World of Warcraft from Gravel Sucks?
I'm guessing
Gravel Sucks is not a game.
I'm guessing Gravel sucks, you play Minecraft.
Yeah, it's from Minecraft. Picture 2.
I have played since 8th grade, and I recently quit in October.
The summer between 6th and 7th grade I started playing. Yeah, that was a long time.
What race, even if not real created, would you want in WoW? Garagon Horizon, that's who it's from. Thank you for having a name that I can pronounce, you too.
Garagon Horizon.
Again, I want to see the Centaur. I know it probably won't happen, but I want to see him.
No, actually, what I think would be really cool is I want to see the Warlock minion, the Voidwalker?
Mhm.
I want to see a Voidwalker race. I think that'd be so sick.
That'd be cool to move.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
But
it'd be cool.
that'd be really cool. Or Cyclops, as I said, I want them to just be stupid and dopey and quirky. Their racial mount is just pink unicorns and fly on rainbows and just everything that's like, it literally falls apart. The lore would fall apart and everything, but that's alright, because
Yeah.
Cyclops really aren't seen a whole lot. They're kind of ogre-y, if they are, so.
Alright, well, we are out of time for the day. Next week we will come back and we will probably feature The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, we're going to talk about The Wolf
for like
Among
a whole
Us.
45 minutes about it. Thank you for watching the Chaparral Broadcasting Network League of Nerds. We will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Woo!
I just, the camera.
You absolutely missed.